So I used to do one-on-one coaching for students. I used to help them with their grades, but more importantly, their mindset. Now, this wasn't always the case. I used to just tutor people just based on just technical stuff and help them get grades by just teaching them study tips and techniques. But I realized oftentimes those are just symptoms, and the actual root issue is the mindset itself. And I remember there was a girl that I was coaching. Her name was Sophia, and she was doing actually very well in school. She was getting at the top of her class for a lot of her subjects, but at the same time, she felt a lot of self-doubt. She kept doubting her abilities. She didn't feel like she was as smart as everyone else. And because of that self-doubt, a lot of the time she just didn't want to study because she was just paralyzed with this doubt, with this fear of just failing. And that just led to a lot of procrastination, a lot of inaction. And ultimately, that actually dragged down her grades in the long term. And what I did through my coaching was I realized I didn't need to help her with her technical skills. Her actual study ability was fine. But what was the issue here was her mindset. And so after a few coaching sessions, she mentioned that she was just a completely different person. And it was just a very wholesome experience. And it was the first time where I could literally see the impact of mindset on a person's actions. Before, she was this very doubtful and just shy and very just timid person, not just in terms of not personality, but just in terms of the things she was willing to do. But over time, she just developed the courage to step outside her comfort zone, actually acknowledge that she's doing quite well, and then use that as motivation to hype herself up and just get the grades that she deserves. And for her, the issue was never the techniques, it was always the mindset. And there was a particular quote that I shared with her that really resonated. And it was something that she told me had changed her perspective on a lot of things. And it was that there are two pains that you can choose: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And so a lot of her decisions, a lot of the inaction, meant that she was avoiding the pain of discipline to try and face these emotions, this internal turmoil. And instead, she was opting for the path of where she would have the pain of regret. And when I laid these two paths out for her, she realized that if she continued in this self-doubt direction, she's eventually going to have a lot of regrets for not trying out the things that she wanted to do, for not giving it her all, for not believing in herself and pursuing the opportunities that she knew she was technically capable of, but emotionally she felt like she was not ready. And so when she realized that a lot of her decisions were going to result in regret, the other option is the only other option that she could have taken, which is the option of not regret, but discipline. Discipline, not just in terms of just overcoming procrastination and actually studying, but the discipline and the mental rigidity to fight off the feelings of self-doubt and ignore that and still do the thing anyway, and basically pretending as if it's not a thing. And over time, as you use this discipline to generate real-world results, you're going to create the results that will actually diminish the self-doubt. And so either way, discipline and taking action is the first step in this process. So I just want to share that story with you and that quote, because that line for her really changed the trajectory. And now she's doing amazing in her courses and in her subjects and grades. So to tie it all off, ask yourself if you're picking the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You always have to pick one.